chase, Nye, touchdown. The linebacker picked it up. That was not a forward pass. First down and 10 football.
Inside handoff. Oh, on the bootleg. Grease, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Williamsport, great keep.
First quarter, on their third play from scrimmage, quarterback Brent Burley's pass gets picked off by Logan Ott and returned for a touchdown to put the Warriors up 7-0.
Play action. Coleman good. Back to pass. Got a man there going up. What a catch! 25, 20, 15, 10, touchdown, 67 yards.
Pass, steps up, wants it all, throws, got Brock Boyer down the field. Nice, did he catch it? Touchdown, Brock Boyer. Good coverage, Dallas Grease. Kavanaugh back to pass, looking deep out. Watkins has it at the 20, 15, 10,
gonna
5.
score a touchdown.
He's going to score a touchdown. Touchdown.
With 6.2
touchdown,
seconds
Reese
left.
Watkins. Reese Watkins scores with 6 seconds to go from 30 yards out. Chase Kavanaugh to Reese Watkins again. That's the second time. 6 seconds to go, and he is in for the score.
Welcome to week number 14 of Touchdowns and Tailgates, powered by the Fairfield Auto Group. Good to see you, Doc Massey.
Likewise.
We're somewhere we've never been before. Week 14, we have 3 teams playing.
Yeah, it's historic. It's pretty awesome, pretty entertaining. It says a lot about the coaches, teams, and football we have going on here.
And you and I have talked about how well coached area teams are, and we seem to be at a level of talent compared to the rest of the state. We seem to match up pretty well.
Yeah, it's I've been starting to put the Sun Gazette's football all-star ballot together and coach of the year and stuff like that, and it's just coach of the year alone is a brutal choice right now.
Better you than me.
Yeah, it's luckily we vote on it, so they can't direct all their hate mail towards me.
Well, let's talk about this past weekend. You were up Williamsport. I saw you on Saturday. We had the Muncy Indians and Millersburg. Wasn't much of a contest.
No, I mean I thought Muncy was the favorite going in, with Millersburg being 3-8, but it's always hard to tell with teams you've never seen play before. But I love the way they came out and took care of business against. I think it would have been easy maybe to have a letdown coming off a big win at Canton and seeing what Millersburg's record was, but they came out, put their foot on their throat right away, and never let them up.
And Coach Sean Tatro and the Muncy Indians staff have done such a fantastic job of developing. They're a young team.
Yeah. I mean, the only place they really are experienced is on the offensive line.
Which is a good place to be experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. But everywhere else, they're so young. So I think this could just be the start for this group, especially with what I hear is a great crop of 8th graders that are going to be coming up to high school next year.
And we've talked in the past, the one good thing that came out of the state going to 6 classifications was schools like Muncy that now have a fighter's chance in the small school division where they're not playing against the Southern Columbias.
Absolutely, because I know Scott McLean back in the 2000s had some fabulous Muncy teams that I think could have made runs had they not had that wall called Southern Columbia blocking their path.
And that gets us jumping to this week. They get Lackawanna Trail Friday night, 7 o'clock up at Williamsport High School. Yep. You and I were talking off the air. Not a whole lot of research I've done on Lackawanna, other than they had a quality program last year, program this year.
Yeah, they were in the state final last year, and I think they flew under the radar during the regular season, but Old Forge from District 2 was number 1 in the state all year, and Trail beat them in the district semifinals, and has kind of had their way with their last 2 opponents. They beat a good Williams Valley team the other day, so kind of like Muncy in a way that they're physical, they don't throw the ball much, they try to impose their will, so it's going to be a tough matchup.
I think the youth of Muncy, and it'll get tested this week. I think you got a more veteran ball team in Lackawanna Trail from what I understand. And however, I don't think Muncy's to the point where they're playing one of the private schools where they'll be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I love this team's attitude. I don't think they fear anybody right now. I think they respect everybody, but they don't fear anybody, and they showed that when they avenged those defeats against Sayre and Canton and districts. So
absolutely,
if they lose, it's going to be because they've run into a better team. I don't think it's going to be because they've ever been intimidated by anybody.
No, and a great building of a program by Coach T down there. I mean, back-to-back district titles, 3 and 4 years. And I think the best might be ahead. You hate to say that because you never know what the future holds, but boy, the way this program's coming along.
Yeah, with everything they've got coming back, and I know their junior high was really good this year, and they've got a lot of linemen coming up to replace these ones that they're going to lose. So I think they're pretty loaded, and if they can stay healthy and focused these next few years, that this could possibly be a recurring theme for them.
That would be wonderful. Let's move right on up the ladder to 3A. The Battle of the Bridge, too.
Yeah.
Probably what we expected, but we hope for a little different outcome. We hope for a closer game, but Montoursville just too much for Loyalsock.
Yeah, I said going in, I thought Sock might play him better, but I thought up front was going to be the X factor again, and I think it was. Montoursville's just so strong along the offensive and defensive lines, and I think Loyalsock just couldn't get anything going, and throwing an interception on the second play of the game, that wasn't in the cards for them. That the last thing they could afford was for Montoursville to jump out all over them, and that's what happened, and it kind of was all downhill from there.
And for Coach Justin Van Fleet and the folks in Lancerland, a great season. It was a rebuilding year. The beginning of the year, you and I talked, we wondered if they'd get 5 wins to even be eligible.
Yeah,
which I don't know if that matters anymore, it seems, for playoffs.
Yeah, they probably would have been in.
They probably would have made it in,
still.
But it was hard to find 5 wins, and they had a really good season, and they have a lot back.
Yeah, I think they definitely exceeded expectations, and they won 6 straight coming in there. And I said in the paper, I don't think it was anything that Loyalsock did bad the other night. It was just they just ran into a great Montoursville team that's as probably good of as an area team as I've seen this decade. So they've got nothing to be ashamed of.
I think they have the opportunity to do some special things here in the upcoming weeks, and let's talk about that. They'll get Wyoming area, and from what I heard at Williamsport High School Saturday, correct?
Yep.
Gary Crispin, Babe Mayer, they'll have the ball game. 24-hour delay because their friends at the PIAA like to charge a lot of money. But
yes, they do.
You and I will be up there, and it should be a great matchup.
Yeah.
But I got to say, if I was making book, which I don't, that Montoursville, I'd probably set them as a 7.5, 8-point favor.
I don't know. Again, it's have not seen Wyoming area play.
Yeah.
It's hard, but.
I guess what I'm getting at is there used to be a time when local teams never were favored, and I would have to say they're the favorite heading in this game.
I mean, a year ago I think they were a decided underdog against Scranton Prep, and the last few times they've been there, they've been big underdogs. But I think this is their best chance in a long time to make a splash at the statewide level. I think Wyoming area is similar to them. They're really strong up front. They're 12-1. Both their only losses are to Southern Columbia. So it's felt like all year these two were on a collision course.
I got to ask you, right? You ready for it?
All right, bring it on.
If we took Southern Columbia and matched them up against an all-star team from Montoursville and Wyoming area, what would happen?
Southern probably still, as crazy as that
sounds. I know, but I mean, and we're talking about 2 outstanding football teams, Montoursville and Wyoming.
Yeah, you're talking about one of those teams could end up in a state final.
Yeah.
So that just tells you how good Southern is. So I think it's going to be a great game.
Great game, and Coach Kiefer, tip of my Loyalsock cap to him. I call him Coach Fundamental. I mean, his team is just prepared.
They are,
and every player knows their job, and they play with confidence.
Yeah.
So
and what I said, what I like about. They didn't even really celebrate when they beat Loyalsock. It was just, and they said it after the game. They wanted to win districts, obviously, but it was a means to an end. That what they wanted to do was win that game to give themselves an opportunity to go win a state game.
That might be a better way to stick it to the Lancers anyway, and not send to me. I would sooner they celebrated.
They did.
But it did. It was just another game,
It was. There was no jumping around. Nothing.
You and I, where did we see that at earlier with Montoursville? You and I noticed that earlier in the season. We talked about it, that it was like a day at the office. But from this point out, they're going to get tested, and I'm anxious to see because I think they have what it takes. It's just
they just gotta bring it and put it all together and
don't turn the ball over in playoffs. Make tackles.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, some of the worst tackling I've seen lately was on the NFL. The games I watched yesterday, there was awful tackling.
But it's funny how you see. It's ironic that a lot of times you're seeing better tackling in high school than you are in the NFL.
That impressed me about Muncy, and granted the opponent wasn't strong, But they were you and I sat together up there at that game and watched, and that was some sure tackling. I mean,
and they're one of the best around. And they've got a really good wrestling program there. A lot of the wrestlers are football players, and you see that they know how to take somebody
and that goes
down.
Right to Montoursville.
They
put a licking on you and get you to the ground. But hey, that moves us right on up. We got the Jersey Shore Bulldogs. Got a good win, sort of expected to when you looked across their opponent there, Bishop Shanahan. And now the Bulldogs get a test. They got Pottsville down at Danville Friday night. So give me a quick recap of the Bulldogs and what's going on. We're gonna head up there a little later in the show, but
yeah, I mean, this is another team that I think had question marks coming into the season. They lost 2 All-State players on defense, and honestly, I thought Selinsgrove might be the team to beat coming into the year. And here's Jersey Shore at 10-3, winning their first ever state game, repeating as district champs for the first time. And I think they've just surged at the right time. And even with I think they had 3 turnovers against Shanahan, and they still won, fairly convincingly, 33-14. So they got their hands full with a really good Pottsville team. But just like we said with Muncy, I don't think Jersey Shore fears anybody, and they're just a tough, tenacious team.
Jersey Shore, when I watch them right now, the pace that they set on offense. They just seem to be constantly dictating to the other team what's going to happen in the game. The same on defense. Yeah. It's like other teams are fighting to get first downs to keep them off the field, so they're not in that hurry up offense. And
it's rapid fire.
It's rapid fire. So
they and that's tough for teams that haven't seen it before. If they haven't seen it before, it can be hard to get used to.
And Tanner Larson's put together one of the best seasons. It's getting to the point now where we can say it's one of the best seasons the quarterback's had in the West Branch Valley.
Absolutely. He's got 2,800 passing yards. Bryson Mucine is the only guy in the area that's ever thrown for more yards in a season. He went over 1,000 rushing. He's over 20. He's got 21 rushing touchdowns, 27 passing. I mean, it's video game numbers that he's putting up right now. It's been pretty incredible.
And another, Gary picked up on it. Chrisman earlier in the year, you picked on it. We talked about it from the beginning of the season. The command that he had of the offense. It was like they didn't. And again, they have a really good coaching staff, but he didn't need it. He was running that offense from the beginning of the year, firing on all 8 cylinders. Yeah. And now it's like they've added the Malicki. The running game is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean they got playmakers everywhere. Malicki went over 1,000 yards rushing. Stanton Westland's he's at 989 receiving. Caden Hess has 57 catches. They've got 4 receivers who have 35 or more catches, which you just don't see that at the high school level. It's pretty amazing what they've been able to do and how they spread that ball around.
And that's probably going to be the game. 99% sure that's the game we're going to do Webb Weekly Live. We're going to do the Bulldogs down at Danville taking on Pottsville. And Pottsville's had a great tradition, football tradition, baseball tradition in recent years. We've seen a lot of Pottsville, and I think that's probably the best game to bring back to the area.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle, and they like to throw the ball too. They got a quarterback that has almost 2,500 yards passing and physical up front. They got some size, so it'll be a tough matchup for a Jersey Shore team that doesn't have a lot of size up front, but that plays mighty big every week.
Well, I hope we're right back here next week. Depending what happens, we get a couple teams through, we'll come right back. But thanks for this season, Doc Massey. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to head down to Muncy and see Coach T. Anything you want me to pass along to him?
No, just tell them they're doing a heck of a job.
I will tell them.
It's been a lot of fun watching them.
Commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Kaiser Boys and Dan Goldman are at it again at both Fairfield locations in Muncy and Danville. For every new coat you bring in for kids ages infant to 15, you'll receive an additional $500 off your in-stock vehicle purchase. Plus, during the Black Friday sales event, you can receive employee pricing on select 2019. Save over $11,000 on select 2019 Ram 1500s or save over $7,000 off select 2019 Cherokees. Stop in today. Fairfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You're gonna love us.
And I'm down here at Muncy with Coach Sean Tatro. Good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you, Jim. Thanks for coming down again.
I see after you win a game in the state tournament, they get you a nice suit down here at Muncy, a nice tie.
Yeah, you gotta look the part now.
You look darn good, my friend. Hey, great win. First win in school history state tournament. I'll let these young men in. We're not changing anything. Key and Peele style. Introduce yourself, young man.
Ethan Gush. I play linebacker and running back and fullback.
You were an absolute stud up at Williamsport.
Thank you.
I don't think I could have tackled you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Good.
I'm Christian Good. I'm a receiver and a corner on defense.
And again, great ball game. Let's get right to it. Going into the season, did you ever think you'd be sitting here in one of the last teams playing in single A in the state of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, during the beginning of the season, I didn't think we'd be as good as we are like now, because we're a young team, but that doesn't mean we can't do what we're doing now. But I think like everything fell into place and we're doing well.
And you like contact?
Yeah, love it.
Would you sooner run over somebody or tackle somebody?
Probably run over someone.
I can see that. Young Mr. Good, hey, the season is unfolded. Same question. Did you think you'd be here right now? I mean, you're one of the last teams left in single A in the state of Pennsylvania after the South game.
Yeah. I definitely had my doubts, but as the season went along, everybody started playing together, doing their jobs, doing their parts, and we all started meshing as a team, and that's been the reason for our success.
And what's your favorite? Well, I should say Friday Night Lights. It was Saturday afternoon this past week, but what's your favorite part of playing high school football?
I like playing defense. I like making tackles.
Playing defense, and Coach T's right next to you. The development of you guys and how you've mixed some old players and young players. How do you feel about that? I mean, they're all your brothers now, and there aren't any freshmen, but I don't think I've ever seen a coach take a group of young men, some a little older, some a little younger, some are freshmen in key positions, and put the whole thing together.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't know, we got 4 or 5 seniors, got 2 or 3 juniors, 2 or 3 sophomores, and got 3 freshman starters. So it's just kind of cool that you have a mix of everybody's grade working together, and it's just kind of cool. It speaks for Coach of what he can make for young players, how he can develop them quickly and just make our team sometimes out of nothing, it seemed like.
Muncy Indians, district champions, playing in the state quarterfinal.
Yeah.
What's that mean when you hear that?
It means a lot for our school because we've never been here before. So it just means a lot, and it works.
Coach, this young man, and the one thing I can always say, you guys are coached the right way, and you got fine gentlemen down here. Tell me since you came here. I know there's probably some guys in another place that wears green that wish they would have gave you a job at this point. But tell me about how you come here and put this program together.
I mean, it's one of those things. When we took this program over, we knew we had to build it from the ground up. I mean, these guys were on junior high my first year here, and we knew we had to instill the hard-nosed, physical football game, and these guys took ownership of it. I mean, these guys, they come out every day. They're not always focused, but when time comes, they focus up, they practice hard, and when we play on Friday night or Saturday afternoon, they come ready to play.
And Saturday up at Williamsport, beautiful afternoon, beautiful setting for a game, AstroTurf. The Muncy Indians. I'm an Indian fan. I'm up in the press box cheering, and Chris Massey tells me, you got to be quiet up here. Just joking. But it was a fun time, and there's a lot of representation from Williamsport. Principal Wellover, am I pronouncing it right?
Wellover, yep.
Wellover, his son plays at Warrior Run, stud linebacker.
Yep.
He was up there. Great group of people to watch the game with, and of course, none of that matters if the game doesn't go well, but a lot of excitement up there. Did you feel that throughout the community?
I mean, yeah, we knew going into the game we were going to travel pretty well up there. Being in our backyard, we had a lot of parents getting ready they wanted to tailgate before the game. They called Williamsport for permission. It was great to see them all come. It was great to have that student section there. It was great for the community.
And I didn't know if I was supposed to mention that because I walked through the tailgate and I thought it was just a fantastic afternoon, but the Muncy folks really picked it up. And I can't leave Chili out. Coach Kurt Chilson, athletic director, big Indian. I mean, obviously now big Indian, but a Williamsport guy.
Yep, we have a lot of Williamsport ties up there.
And it was just a fun afternoon for Muncy football. All right, let's put that in the rearview mirror now, right?
Yep.
So now you got a tough opponent coming up. Tell me a little bit about the upcoming game.
I mean, we have Lackawanna Trail this week at Williamsport again on Friday night. They were returning PIAA state finalists last year. They didn't win it, but they were in the finals last year. And we know what they're going to do. They're a wing T team. They're similar to us. They average about 4 to 5 passes a game. So we know it's going to be won and lost in those trenches as always. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel here in single A. That ball's going to be on the ground quite a bit this game.
Is it true the coaches have talked and there will be no forward passes in the game Friday night? Or?
Yeah, we debated it, but I think we're going to keep people guessing just a little bit.
Actually, I think you got an edge in the passing game, so that's a good thing. What does it mean to you that, another exciting game, another great venue, Friday night up on the hill, Lackawanna Trail?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, they're a tough team, but so are we. And I think we can do really good things with this game.
I think you can too. Just keep running like you're running. How about you, Lackawanna Trail?
It's just a really exciting game, playing in state quarters. Get to play at Williamsport, only 15 minutes away. Get to have a home crowd. It's just got a great opportunity. I'm thankful to be playing this Friday.
Well, back in the days when I played and we'd get out in districts in basketball, we didn't have football back then, but different things, you get to play. We'd get GAR or somebody or Lords. It was a lot of fun, and it was just fun to say their names. Lackawanna Trail. Isn't that just fun to say that you're playing Lackawanna Trail?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just kind of that, connotation of the name. They're going to be good, but we got to bring it to them, I guess.
Well, good luck to you boys. Good luck, Coach. Thanks for sharing the season with us, and I hope we're back here next week.
Thanks for coming.
Commercial break. We'll be right back. We're going to head up to Jersey Shore.
The Kaiser Boys and Dan Goldman are at it again at both Fairfield locations in Muncy and Danville. For every new coat you bring in for kids ages infant to 15, you'll receive an additional $500 off your in-stock vehicle purchase. Plus, during the Black Friday sales event, you can receive employee pricing on select 2019. Save over $11,000 on select 2019 Ram 1500s or save over $7,000 off select 2019 Cherokees. Stop in today. Fairfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You're gonna love us.
All right, we're back here on Touchdowns and Tailgates Pole Bowl alongside the coach, Rich Salonis, and we're here with Jersey Shore coach, Tom Gravish. Pleasure, Coach.
Thank you.
Big game this week coming up against Pottsville. I'm going to let the coach handle it from here. Asked all those tough questions, but it's going to be a good one. We're going to have it on Webb Weekly Live, 24-hour delay, and I'm really excited to be covering the game.
Well, Coach, we go way back. Right. Seems like you've been doing this a long time, and you've been very successful at every stop you've been at. Way back at the East Juniata days even, Bellefonte, Williamsport, and now at Jersey Shore. So you've done a tremendous job turning the program around. Big game this week here against Pottsville. What is it on film that you see about them that makes you concerned?
Thank you very much. They're just solid all over. They have a solid offense. They have a solid defense, solid specialties. I think it all starts with their quarterback. He's very athletic. He's mobile. He can move in the pocket. He kind of reminds you a little bit of a Johnny Manziel kind of player on tape, you know what I mean? He can run, he can move his feet, and he throws very well on the run. They have an incredible offensive line. On the defensive side, they have a great defensive line, some very aggressive linebackers, some very talented defensive backs. So it'll be a challenge for us. I think our guys will be up for it, and we look forward to this opportunity.
Well, one of the things that we noticed when we look at Pottsville's roster, they're senior laden. I believe all 12 starters on the offensive side of the ball, or all 11, are seniors, and 10 out of the 11 are seniors on the defensive side of the ball. So, the people back there have been looking for this season for a while, and you know all about that when a community gets behind a football team. But how's the community responded up here so far?
Oh, we've had tremendous success, in support. It all starts with our school administration. They're very supportive of us. And, our teachers in both, the middle schools and the high schools and all over have been very supportive. We have a great band here. We have great cheerleaders, and they've all been supportive. We had a great turnout, to go down to Selinsgrove on Friday. They've been supporting us all year, whether we're on the road or at home here at Thompson Street Stadium. And we're just so happy. We have the greatest fans, the greatest community, and, we're going to have a great crowd on Friday. When we came back on Friday, we had many emergency rescue engines to greet us for a little tour around town with, so many people, great people of the Jersey Shore community out there to greet us and to cheer these young men on. It was very humbling to see the support.
And there's nothing like that type of support, but I have to ask you this before we stop the interview. But one of the things that I really admire about your style when you coach is your enthusiasm. And we had your Lewisburg game. I don't know if you know that or not, but we were in the corner of the end zone watching you warm up, and the enthusiasm and the confidence that you show that night, just the excitement to coach. I have to ask you this. when did it start, and was there any role model or anything that got you that way? But it's very obvious you love doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you that you think that way, but it's just it dates back to, I guess, my athletic competition from Little League to middle school, and being a football player at Bald Eagle Area High School. We had some enthusiastic assistant coaches, and enthusiastic coaches in every sport, and I thought back then, maybe I'd want to be a police officer or a teacher, and I'm glad I chose this profession, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm kind of humbled and feel very lucky to be associated with such a great community here in Jersey Shore, and our players. It's easy to get excited when you have such great players that they get excited too. I like being around our guys, and we feel if you're going to play with enthusiasm and energy, you have to practice that way.
Well, great answer, Coach, and best of luck to you Friday night, and we'll be looking forward to doing the game. Paul?
One thing I want to add in, Coach, we were down here last year to cover a couple games, and Rich talked a little bit about the community effort, and I'm from the Hazelton area, and football's been down there for a long time, and I came down here to cover the team last year, and the support you have from the community, the houses along that street, draping Bulldog paraphernalia. There was a guy out there, he had little rocks he was putting, people were buying them in their yard. It's great to have that community support, and I take my hat off to you guys. That's really something special you guys have here.
I think so, thank you. And I tell our guys all the time, I'm not born or raised here, and I didn't grow up in this community, but to me, there's no better place to be on a Friday night here in Thompson Street Stadium here in Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. And I believe that, you walk over from our locker room for the early out pre-games, and you see people coming out of their houses, you see them tailgating in yards, you see people walking to the games, and we have great attendance and great support. They're always cheering us on here, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and we'll be right back. We're going to bring in a couple of the Bulldogs, ask them a couple questions about the big game coming up this week against Pottsville.
The Kaiser Boys and Dan Goldman are at it again at both Fairfield locations in Muncy and Danville. For every new coat you bring in for kids ages infant to 15, you'll receive an additional $500 off your in-stock vehicle purchase. Plus, during the Black Friday sales event, you can receive employee pricing on select 2019. Save over $11,000 on select 2019 Ram 1500s, or save over $7,000 off select 2019 Cherokees. Stop in today. Fairfield Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You're gonna love us.
All right, we're back here on Touchdowns and Tailgates, and as tradition goes, we got some of the Bulldogs here. We're going to go right down the line. You guys can introduce yourselves.
I'm senior defensive end and tight end Ryan Kirshner, number 31.
I'm Josh Mulkey, number 30. I'm a running back.
I'm Dawson Seekers, number 33, linebacker and fullback.
Tanner Lorson, number 14, quarterback.
Tanner Lorson, one of the best quarterbacks that this county has seen in a long time. Tanner, what we've noticed is you don't only do it with your arm, but with your legs. And when you're running your read option or your zone read plays for Coach Gravish, talk to people a little bit about what are some of the things you have to be looking for.
Well, just like seeing the DN, that's what the read's off of, or whoever we're pitching off of. If he comes after me, you pitch to the running back, Josh, or if he heads up field towards Josh, and I keep it in tuck and get as much yards as I can. So that's how that process works.
And you've been doing that very successfully, obviously. So how about throwing the football? Do you come up to the line of scrimmage and have certain patterns that you're seeing versus coverage, or do you make on-site adjustments?
Well, we have patterns coming up to the line, and we can change them if we see something that doesn't look right for the play, and we just run whatever the defense gives us and take it from there.
Well, you've been doing a pretty good job with it so far this year. And let's talk to number 31 down here, my old number, defensive end, and heard you had a pretty decent game last week. You've been raising heck all year with sacks and whatnot, tackles for losses. So talk to us a little bit about your base responsibilities in your defense.
Well, I mainly have to keep the quarterback contained. I can't let him get outside, or then everything else falls apart without that.
And what do you have to do this week with Pottsville's quarterback? Anything different? You see him as being a dual threat, or is he mostly just a pocket passer?
He's a dual threat. You have to keep him in. That's about it.
You intend to do that, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I'll tell you a lot about the quarterback for Pottsville. I remember him from basketball. Very athletic, three-sport athlete, basketball, football, and baseball for Damian Yost. He's only about 5'9", about 175 pounds, but he is quick, so you're going to have to definitely keep him contained there.
All right, sounds like a
Yeah,
plan.
that's my little tip here, my bow tip for tonight. Let's talk to the running backs here. Josh and Dalton. Now, last time you guys were interviewed by Coach Webb, you said that he's the fastest on the team. Are you still going to go with that statement?
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, a little sad about it. You got caught from behind in the Selinsgrove game. You made me look bad. But anyway, what do you guys got to do against Pottsville to get going?
We just got to run hard and just count on the line to do a really good job blocking. Just follow their blocks. Just run hard.
Okay, Dalton.
Yeah, my key is just if we're rounding up the middle or outside is to hit the D end or the first linebacker that I see to make sure Josh can get the yards as much as he can.
And also on defense, you're a hitting machine on defense. I remember your game, you were all over the field there.
Yeah, I try to do the best I can.
See, anything you want to just hit anything that moves, right?
Yep, whoever has the ball, that's where I'm going.
All right, well, you've heard some comments here for some very humble Bulldogs, and trust me, their bite's much louder than their bark here tonight. I'm sure they're going to represent themselves, the community, and the school in great fashion Friday night.
We're going to stick with tradition here because we're big followers of tradition here. Give a shout out to anybody you want.
I'd like to give a shout out to my family.
Okay.
I'll give a shout out to my family also.
I'll give the shout out to my mom and dad. They were always there for me.
Gotta give a shout out to the line for protecting me the whole year and everyone else here for making it work.
All right, guys, that's it from here. For Chris Massey, Jim Webb, Rich Salonis, I'm Paul Bowe. We'll see you Friday night, webweeklylive.com. Thanks for tuning in to Touchdowns and Tailgates. Inside handoff. Oh, on the bootleg. Grease, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Williamsport, great keep.
First quarter, on their third play from scrimmage, quarterback Brent Burley's pass gets picked off by Logan Ott and returned for a touchdown to put the Warriors up 7-0.
Play action. Coleman good. Back to pass. Got a man there going up. What a catch! 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. 67 yards. Coleman.
Pass. Steps up once and all. Throws. Got Brock Boyer down the field. Nice. Did he catch it? Touchdown. Brock Boyer. Good coverage. Dallas Grease. Kavanaugh back to pass. Looking deep out. Watkins has it at the 20, 15, 10,
gonna score.
5. He's going to score. Touchdown. Touchdown.
With 6.2
Touchdown,
seconds
Reese
left.
Watkins. Reese Watkins scores with 6 seconds to go from 30 yards out. Chase Kavanaugh to Reese Watkins again. That's the second time. 6 seconds to go, and he is in for the score.